Today we're going to be chatting about makeup brands that completely missed the mark this year in 2024, the ones that left us collectively cringing. From overpriced eyeshadows to extravagant influencer trips, 2024 showed just how out of touch these brands really are. So sit back, grab a snack, because I'm going to be breaking down all the brands that gave us the ultimate ick this year. All right, so let's start with a brand that I think gets in trouble almost every year for this sort of stuff, and that is Tarte. Back in February, they invited influencers on a ridiculously lavish trip to Bora Bora. We're talking private jets, luxury villas at the Four Seasons, and tons of gifts, free makeup, branded gear, custom Nikes. So before we even dive into the trip, here's what they got before they left.
So the Tarte trip was rescheduled, and now we all leave to go to Bora Bora on Wednesday. Tell me why Tarte decided to send a whole nother box of stuff. Like, I can't. There's some crazy shit in here. I have not watched any of the videos, so let's find out together, shall we? Wait, you are fucking kidding. Oh my God. You guys, there's matching Jordans for me and my best friend. No. What the Tarte? Sam's gonna die when I show her these. Oh my God. I can't. We have an entire base bag. I mean, this is just insane. I'm so excited they also have matching Tarte sweat sets. I'm making her wear this on the flight with me, 1000%. My note said, we thought you could wear this hat on your first ever hashtag tripping with Tarte. You guys, it says, this is actually my first rodeo. What the hell is this? Wait, no, seriously, what the hell is? Are you me? They did not give us. Oh my God. Wait, I'm actually gonna cry. You guys remember I left my Canon G7X on my flight to Europe, you guys. Not Tarte giving us a Canon G7X. I have no words. Dude, what? Oh my God, I'm so excited. We just take a moment for the tote. Like, oh my God, this is so cute. Oh my God, I can't believe this. What is happening? What is life?
So next, once they were on their way, they actually got to fly on a private jet, which is something that, again, it's over the top for influencer trips. Most often you see influencers just flying commercial on these trips. But in this video, I mean, it looks kind of incredible. They also got to bring a plus one, so a lot of them brought their husbands or boyfriends, and other people could bring a friend or a family member. And most of them filmed their experience on the private jet, so we really got a good look at what they were treated to. And it was certainly above and beyond what we're used to seeing from other influencers going on trips. And while some people really enjoyed seeing their favorite influencers being pampered and going on this luxury vacation to paradise, there was a ton of backlash in the form of comments on these TikToks and Reels that were being shared over on Reddit, and also just people making their own videos talking about it. So one post on Reddit said, "I don't get these trips. Do they really think we want to be watching these already rich influencers go on a free, luxurious vacation while we're sitting at our 9-to-5 jobs, barely being able to afford groceries?" Another video that I saw on TikTok really summed up the criticism as well.
Tarte just took a bunch of influencers on this all-exclusive trip to Bora Bora, and it is so freaking lavish, and they're coming under fire for that TikTok amongst other different things too. But during a time where many people are getting laid off, many people are paycheck to paycheck, actually more than 60% of America lives paycheck to paycheck, they are flaunting this trip and making content like fanning their tickets. Oh, if you ain't got no money, take your broke ass home. I have a degree in public relations, and I worked in public relations for years before before I started my platform, so I kind of want to talk about this. The end goal of this trip is so that more people see Tarte and they buy Tarte. This Tarte trip is actually turning people off from the brand. Former PR major, I don't really understand how that logic works because it's so freaking tone deaf. So many people are struggling to put food on the table, and y'all are flaunting the private jet, the trip, all of the expensive free goodies that you got. I think this might be the end of Tarte, if I'm going to be completely honest with you.
So after the backlash, Tarte creator Maureen Kelly had this to say to Rolling Stone. "We've always believed in the power of genuine connections over traditional advertising. Some brands find it beneficial to invest in the $10 million TV commercials, celebrity campaigns, or print ads. We focus on relationships through our brand trips that are a much smaller investment. These more authentic relationships have proven to drive not only product sales in the short and long term, but to expand our reach and community exponentially." She also told the New York Times that the amount that Tarte would spend on these trips is actually a lot less than what they would pay for, let's say, a Super Bowl commercial. She said, "I find it so interesting that people don't get outraged when they see the Super Bowl commercials or those Times Square billboards." And honestly, it makes complete sense. If you look at it from the company's perspective, she's creating loyal influencers who are never going to speak bad about the brand again. And in fact, they're going to continue to promote Tarte's products in the hopes that they'll get invited again next year. So I can see how this is a very effective strategy right now. But how is it making the customers feel over the long term? Yes, it's a great way to get people talking about your brand, but over time, consumers are just growing wary of these trips, and every year it seems like the negativity gets worse and worse. So yes, influencers are going to be continuing to talk about their brand, but is anybody going to be listening after a while? And then it gets worse. Back in September of 2024, Tarte decided to send out some really lavish PR packages to some of their top influencers, and some of them got a $700 Hermes bracelet. Let's watch.
No, you guys, because actually, what the I get a package today from Tarte, and they send some cute little shape tape, a little Maracuja Juicy Lip Plump, and there's this box. It's Dancing with the Star themed, and it says, "Open for your trophy." I open this box. What do I find? It's backwards, but you get it. An Hermes box. I open the Hermes box. I'm like, what is inside? You guys. No, because what the it's a mini Kelly bracelet. I think you just turn it like that. Yeah. Wait. That is so cute. The perfect addition to my stack. Oh my God, it looks so cute, and it fits my wrist perfectly. Thank you so much, Tarte. Like, what? Can't get over it. It looks so good. Literally gonna cry.
So again, the backlash to this was very swift.
Tarte got themselves in trouble with those press trips, we all remember. But then they sort of rectify it. They're taking a group of people on a trip. Lately, their new thing to get people to talk about their beauty products is they're gifting Hermes bracelets to influencers. So I just want to read something that Millie said. "What does an influencer who could earn approximately $10,000 a month need with a new Hermes bracelet? This kind of gifting is starting to alienate the very people who matter most, the actual customers. Unless you're a super high-end luxury brand, giving influencers such extravagant gifts feels disconnected from your consumer base."
Now, this is where it gets interesting, and I think this comes from my perspective of being in this industry a while, and even though I don't do sponsored videos anymore, I did at one point, and that was when my channel was a lot smaller. And I can tell you that a sponsored video would pay me a lot more than $700. So this bracelet that they got was actually kind of a drop in the bucket. Tarte got off pretty cheap by giving them that bracelet. But to the average consumer, it doesn't look like that at all, because nobody really knows what these people are getting paid. It's not something that anyone really talks about. And I think it would be pretty dumb for an influencer to just come on and start bragging about the thousands of dollars they're getting paid to make one video. But Tarte has to know that these influencers are going to film themselves getting a luxury bracelet. That's just not something that they're going to keep to themselves. So again, I feel like it gets their name out there. It gets people talking about Tarte for better or for worse. And it gives us this feeling that Tarte is playing to the influencers rather than the customers. And again, after getting this bracelet, who's going to speak ill of Tarte? These influencers not only are going to continue to be positive about them, but all of the smaller influencers who didn't get a bracelet, because there were some who just got a nameplate necklace or a bag of snacks, depending on how much they sold, those influencers are now incentivized to go and talk about Tarte even more because they want the Hermes bracelet next time or whatever the lavish gift is going to be. So they were able to give just a few of the top influencers this really beautiful gift, and then now they have hundreds of smaller influencers pushing their products in the hopes that one day they'll get on the PR list. It's actually a genius strategy, but at the same time, they're also alienating some of their customer base who are even struggling to afford a $50 foundation, let alone a $700 bracelet. In their mind, all they're seeing is a rich influencer getting a beautiful gift that they could afford anyway, while makeup prices keep climbing along with rent and groceries and everything else that we have to buy. And actually, I have a personal experience with this when it comes to Tarte. Back in 2015, 2016, before I was here on YouTube, I had an Instagram swatch account. So I would post those stencil swatches of all of the different palettes that were coming out. It was like the height of the makeup heyday, if you will. And Tarte noticed my page and they asked if I wanted to be on the PR list. Of course, I said yes. And about a week later, this box came. It showed up at the door and it was so big and so heavy that I couldn't even bring it in myself. I had to get my husband to help me. And when I opened it up, it was like beyond anything that I had ever gotten before. I couldn't have even imagined that they would do this. They sent me almost every single product in their line. Every shade of every lipstick that they had, every single eyeshadow palette, all their mascaras, foundations, concealers, like everything. It was thousands of dollars worth of products. Even my husband, who doesn't really care what I get in PR, was kind of amazed, and he took pictures and was sending them to his friends. Like, look at what my wife got from this company. I mean, it was insane. And so I felt love bombed. I felt super grateful. And how was I going to speak ill of Tarte after that? They treat their influencers extremely well, and it's human nature when you're given a gift that you want to give something back. You're super grateful, and I think that's what they're banking on, a loyal team of influencers that are going to push their products, promote their products, and never really say anything negative about them. And again, I like Tarte as a brand, but I really think that they need to be careful not to alienate their customer base too much, or pretty soon they're gonna find that there's nobody left who wants to buy from them. Next up, we have Patrick Ta. Where do I even start with this? Let's rewind to the mold drama, because earlier this year, people started showing videos and photos online of their Major Dimensions 1 and 2 palettes growing mold.
So I got the Patrick Ta Major Dimensions 2 palette maybe 3 months ago, maybe 4 months ago, and I went to go use it, and this shade is apparently growing mold on it. So this is a PSA to check your makeup, check your eyeshadow palettes, and definitely check this palette and make sure that there isn't any mold growing on it. I am kind of sad because it looks like there's a lot and it looks like it's in the entire eyeshadow.
This is the Dimension 2 palette. I opened it because the color that I wanted to use has mold on it. Again, I'm gonna show you guys how pretty new this palette is. As you can see, this one I have used the look. Again, I'm zoomed in. This is about to form as well right here. You can see which ones I've used and which ones I have not used. I have not used this one at all.
And look, while this was never confirmed to be mold, it made a lot of people think twice about dropping $70 on one of his palettes. And it's kind of crazy that the brand never came out and officially said what's going on. So they've just left everybody to speculate as to what this could be. And then fast forward to more recently, last month, Patrick Ta had teased these new eyeshadow duos that he was coming out with. And at first, the comments on Trend Mood's post about it were overwhelming overwhelmingly positive. One person said, OMG, they are stunning. Take my money, Patrick Ta. Another one said, these are gorgeous. Wow. Take my money. Now this I'm excited about. I need these. I haven't been excited for eye makeup products till this. This boy needs to be stopped or we go broke together. So everyone was super excited about these eyeshadow duos. And then a couple of weeks later, the price dropped and the comments switched from being really excited to super negative. The first one says, when you realize no eyeshadow duo is worth $42 freaking of your hard-earned money and time, the second and better part of your life starts. Like, be so for real, you're gonna use it a couple of times and then that money is gone, wasted on 2 little eyeshadows that definitely won't change your life. The next one says $42 is actually insane. Another one, math is not mathing. The palettes from the same brand are $70 with 12 eyeshadows and 2 eyeshadows are $42. For $42, they better apply themselves. Or one of my personal favorites, $42 is not tethered to reality. So because of all the negativity surrounding the price, Patrick Ta ended up going on TikTok with his own video explaining why they were so expensive.
Let's have a little conversation about my eyeshadow duos. There has been a lot of conversation around my eyeshadow duos and the pricing, so I wanted to get on here and just talk about the formula. The eyeshadows in these duos are not your normal eyeshadows. These are not a pressed formula. These are not a cream. These are what you call a slurry. What is so special about this formula to me is that this formula has no filler in it. This is a baked formula and you are getting 100% pearl. When you swatch this, I have yet to be able to find a pearl that looks like this, applies like this, and will stay like this when you put it onto your eyes. I put them onto my palm. Do you guys see the intensity of this pearl? This is 100% pearl. I just love applying these onto like a matte eyeshadow and having that scattered diamond effect on the eye. It just is the most beautiful thing. I wanted to pull out some other products that are out there on the market right now just to show you guys the pricing. So this is a fan favorite right now. This is $24 for 1.7 grams of product. And I don't want to say if this product has a filler or not, or a base, but with mine, you are getting 4 grams of 100% pearl. This one right here is $30 for a single eyeshadow. You are getting 1.4 grams. This MAC eyeshadow right here, this is $25. This is a matte eyeshadow. Pearl definitely costs a lot more. This one right here, this is $26. And this one right here, this one is $30. I wanted you guys to have a mirror when you were applying these. None of these single eyeshadows comes with a mirror. All of these things drive up the cost.
Okay, so after watching this video, there were a few things that ran through my mind. The first one is that he's comparing his eyeshadow duos to the cost of some other expensive single eyeshadows. And yes, those are expensive, but those two things can exist at the same time. No one is saying that those prices are okay either. I think the Too Faced shadow singles that are $30, that's very overpriced. But another thing that he needs to remember is that a $24 Urban Decay Moondust shadow is a lot easier for some people to swallow than spending $42 on 2 shadows. Sometimes it's easier to just buy the cheaper option even if you're getting less. I have lived paycheck to paycheck before, and I know that when you are on a tight budget, you can't always justify a higher cost item. So again, even if it's a better deal, technically, spending $24 is a lot easier to swallow than spending almost $50 with the tax and everything. So I think when you're rich and you have a lot of money, you don't always think about it that way. But a lot of people are on a budget and they can only spend so much. And then the second thing is, yes, maybe the ingredients that he used to make these are more expensive. Maybe they are more expensive to produce. I don't know because I'm not in the makeup manufacturing business. But I think at the end of the day, what people really care about is the end result, what it looks like on your eyes, not did you use these expensive pearls. If you can get a sparkly eyeshadow to look very similar on your eyes, even if it's not in fancy packaging, even if the ingredients aren't identical, I think that's what more people care about than anything else. So posting this video only seemed to add fuel to the fire. People really weren't buying it. And if all of that wasn't enough, Patrick Ta's name came up again this week. A creator named Alonna Sunshine made a video calling out Patrick Ta for not paying Black creators.
I'm sick of seeing companies profit off of the Black dollar and they're not paying Black creators. What do you suppose I do? I went the nice way. I wasn't the mad black woman when I emailed or when I DM'd you. So what do you suppose I do? I have a question for brands. How would you feel if someone stole from you? If someone took your hard-earned time and work, blood, sweat, and tears, and they stole from you? How would you feel if someone stole from your mother? Am I supposed to just let it ride? Just let it go? I thought about that. I was like, just let it go. But then you see people, especially black people, riding for the company. And that doesn't make me feel very well. Because I just wonder if those black creators that are supporting you so heavily knew that you were out here not paying black creators, how would they feel? I don't think they'd be okay with that. I'm surely not. And who knows? You may see this video and still not give a shit. But my work here is done. Pay black creators.
And in response to that, Patrick Ta filmed not one, but 2 apology videos. They were almost the same word for word, but in the first video, he didn't show as much emotion, and then he deleted that one, reposted a new one, saying basically the exact same things, but he just showed more emotion when speaking. So let's take a look at the first one.
I need to address the situation that has happened with Avonna and how my team and I have been handling it the last couple of days. I personally reached out to Avonna immediately after seeing the video, and I do not expect a response, and she does not owe me a conversation. She is probably just tired and angry at this entire situation, and rightfully so. Avonna, I am truly so sorry that this has escalated to this point, and I'm so sorry that I didn't see your message. I want to get you compensated as soon as possible, today if possible, if you are willing to answer me. I have had the privilege to be able to have met you and to know what a ray of sunlight you are, and I want you to know that if I had known this, I would have never let this happen. This was my team's mistake, but my name is on this brand. I am the one that you guys see, so I take full responsibility and accountability for this. And this is a reminder for me of a bigger conversation of fair and equal treatment for Black content creators. You guys do not know how happy it made me to see so many Black creators talk about my brand, and to have this happen and to disappoint you guys. I am truly so sorry. Our brand is reviewing our process on how we take invoices, and it is our job to make sure all of our vendors and all of our creators get compensated for their work. I promise, again, I cannot say sorry enough. This will never happen again.
And then here's the second one that he posted.
I need to address the situation that has happened with Avonna and how my team and I have been handling this. I immediately reached out to Avonna after seeing that video, and I don't expect a response from Avonna. She doesn't owe me a conversation. She is probably mad at this whole entire situation, and that is completely understandable. Avonna, I am truly so sorry that this has even escalated to this point, and I am so sorry that I didn't see your message a month ago, and I want to get you compensated as soon as possible today if you are willing to answer me. I have had the privilege to be able to have a interaction with you, and I know what a ray of sunshine you are. If I had known this, I would have never let this happen. This was my finance team that made this mistake. My face is the one that you guys see, and I need to take accountability for this. This will never happen again. I want you guys to know that I value the creativity and the voices of Black content creators. To see all of the videos during my foundation launch of all the Black creators talking about my brand, it was a really big moment. As a brand, like, we are reviewing our process and the way that we do our invoicing. It is our job to make sure that our vendors and our creators get compensated for their work. And I will never let something like this happen again.
So again, this is just speculation. We don't really know exactly why he uploaded a video, deleted it, which it seemed perfectly fine, and then he posted the second one. We're not sure, but that's kind of what everybody's thinking, because in the first video, he was just very like monotone when he delivered the apology, and then in the second one, he almost like starts to break down to cry towards the end. But either way, at this point, it's kind of hard to look at the brand the same way again, between the alleged mold in the eyeshadow palette to the extravagant prices, to accusations of not supporting creators. It just seems to be a really problematic brand right now, and a lot of people are starting to not want to support them. Next up, let's talk about Blake Brown Beauty. So Blake Lively had quite a year in 2024, and not in a good way. First, we have to address that interview, the one that resurfaced where she was giving Mean Girl vibes. Let's take a look.
On your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
What about my bump?
You've got two nice ones.
And they are kind of bumps, aren't they?
So yeah, after that interview had resurfaced, the person who was interviewing Blake at the time, she came out and said that that whole thing just made her feel really uncomfortable. That was only a small clip, but if you watch the longer interview, and it is out there, Blake and the co-star that she's with on the couch basically just talk to each other the whole time, and they barely acknowledge the woman that's interviewing them. So it just really wasn't a good look. And then when she started to promote her new movie that came out, It Ends With Us, earlier this year, she put her foot in her mouth when she was trying to get people to come out and see the movie. So if you didn't know, the movie is about DV, and instead of handling it with the care and sensitivity that it deserves, she came out and told women to grab your friends, put on your florals, and come out and see the movie. It seemed really tone deaf and seemed to trivialize a really sensitive issue. And then she was interviewed again on, I think it was a podcast, and she was asked about what she would say if a fan approached her and wanted to talk about how the movie might have resonated with them or talk about their experiences. And this is what she had to say.
Most of us, if we're lucky enough to run into a celebrity in public, we only have a few moments to maybe speak with you guys. But for people who see this movie, who relate to the topics of this movie on a deeply personal level, they're really going to want to talk to you. This movie is going to affect people, and they're going to want to tell you about their lives. So if someone understands the themes of this movie, comes across you in public, and they want to really talk to you, what's the best way for them to be able to talk to you about this? How would you recommend they go about it?
Like asking for like my address or my phone number or like my location share. Or I could just location share you, and then we could...
So all of this seemed to coincide with the launch of her hair care line, Blake Brown Beauty, at Target. And not only were these things happening in the background, but also the products themselves were very confusing. For one thing, the price point was definitely on the higher side compared to other hair care products that are sold at Target. Also, the products seemed to be a little bit confusing because she came out and said that she doesn't use conditioner, she uses hair masks. But at the end of the day, masks are just thick conditioners. So it seemed a little bit gimmicky. People really weren't buying it. And then when people started to actually try the products that were supposed to be very nourishing and hydrating, a lot of people complained that it left their hair feeling really dry and straw-like. So a cosmetic chemist over on TikTok had this to say about her products.
So one of the problems with Blake Lively's hair care line is understanding consumer expectations. Like her nourishing shampoo, for example, isn't nourishing, it's clarifying. The main surfactant in the system is sodium olefin sulfonate, which is associated with a lot of clarifying shampoos like my personal favorite K18's Detox shampoo. And sulfonate can be more clarifying and stripping on the hair than sulfates. So the product itself might be fine, but consumers are expecting it to be hydrating or nourishing, and a clarifying shampoo is not that. That, coupled with the anti-conditioner propaganda, isn't helpful. even though the Nourishing Mask is a conditioner, just a thicker version of it. Hair masks in general are just thicker conditioners, usually. And while there are conditioning agents, there may not be enough to flatten the cuticle after clarifying your hair with a sulfonate surfactant. Plus, glycerin in a hair conditioner can be hit or miss depending on your hair type and your environment. Also missing is slip. Sterile alcohol isn't very slippery, it's more waxy. So standard conditioners will usually have a little bit more cetyl alcohol because it's lighter and slipperier. But this is a hair mask after all. I think what would help this line is to add an actual hydrating shampoo, a gentler surfactant, and then rebranding this as conditioner and upping the conditioning agents.
Another complaint that people had was about the packaging. So I actually happen to have one right here, and it's just super bulky, hard to store in your shower. I only have a little ledge to put products on, and it's just kind of big and chunky. And then when you go to use the shampoo, you have to twist this top off, pour it into your hand, and then somehow with shampoo in your hand, try to get this cap back on. It just didn't make a whole lot of sense. So between the bulky and impractical packaging and the products just not really delivering and living up to the hype, Blake Brown Beauty ended up being one of the most returned products at Target. Tons of Target employees were chiming in on social media saying that they had never seen anything get returned so often. So it really felt like Blake was just banking on her celebrity status to sell these products without actually putting a lot of thought into the packaging and the formulas. And between the mean girl energy and the tone deaf comments, Blake Brown Beauty went from a really hyped brand to a hard pass. Next up, we had Youthforia. They managed to stir up some serious drama this year, and the controversy started when they tried to expand the shade range of their foundation, and they launched shade number 600. It was to be the deepest shade in the line, and a beauty creator named Golloria decided to try it, and I think we all know what happened next.
Which side of my face is the black face paint or the Youthforia foundation? You can't tell. You know why? Tar in a bottle. This is jet black face paint, and this is the darkest shade of the Youthforia Date Night foundation. This is black face paint. This is the darkest shade of the Youthforia foundation. A few months ago, I tried the darkest shade of the Youthforia foundation. This is what it looked like on me. I'm gonna apply some of the foundation on this side of my face so you guys can see. Let's just go ahead and try to blend this out, you guys. Enough. Who is that color? I'm gonna wipe this off and let me put the paint all over my face. I'm literally just going in with the face paint. We're gonna do some painting, and let me just go ahead and blend it out with the brush. This is the darkest shade of the Youthforia foundation. This is black face paint. Sometimes it's okay to say, hey, maybe my brand is not made for complexion. I'm gonna squeeze a pump of this on my forehead just right out the bottle so you guys can see that I'm literally not joking. We're gonna do a big blend of this, you guys. When we say that we want you guys to make shades for us, we don't mean to go to the lab and ask for minstrel show black. What we mean is to take the browns that you have made, create undertones, and do what you need to do in the lab so it's a darker shade of brown. This is the darkest shade 600, and as you guys can see in the bottle, literally jet black. The shade right next to it, shade 590. This is what it looks like in the bottle. Here is shade 600. You guys, there could be like 10 more shades in between these two shades. In addition to that, when we go to the actual website and we look at the swatch, not only is the swatch online literally jet black, there's literally only 4 or 5 shades for people that actually have dark complexions. Not really for black people, for being honest. Not only in 2024 is this so disgusting and disrespectful, but this needs to be pulled off the shelves.
So after this happened, the backlash was fast and furious, and Youthforia had also posted this video of the founder walking through a mall trying to find someone who had a skin tone that this shade 600 would work for so that they could photograph him or her for the website. They ended up finding this guy in the mall and putting the foundation on him, and you can tell that it just doesn't match. It doesn't work. It basically looked like splotches of black paint. So after this happened, Youthforia went radio silent for about a month, and then they suddenly popped up on Instagram with a post that said, "We care about our customers and we continue to drive change. We are creating a new position internally dedicated to examining both our current products and those in development so that we can best meet your needs. needs. You can read more about our values on our website and learn more about the role on our careers page. And while the comments were turned off on that post, I did see other people over on Reddit and also on other social media sites talking about it and saying that, you know, they hoped that change would be coming from Youthforia and that they've learned from their mistake, but that remains to be seen. And honestly, I think Golloria's video just sparked a much needed conversation about how brands can't just say that they're inclusive without actually putting in the work. So I do hope that they continue to change and grow from this whole experience. And speaking of shade ranges, another brand that was called out this year in 2024 for being very out of touch was the brand TirTir. This is a Korean brand, and they recently expanded their shade range of their cushion foundation, which, to be fair, was actually an awesome thing. Korean foundations notoriously have very limited shade ranges, and TirTir expanding their range like this was definitely a huge step in the right direction. So that wasn't really the problem. They had invited some influencers over to Korea to celebrate the launch of the new foundation, and like Tarte, the trip was very over the top. And not only that, they gifted some of the influencers a Birkin bag. So let's take a look at this video from Mikayla.
Was I just gifted a Birkin? Okay, hold on, let me rewind. Not long ago, I made a video about the TirTir Cushion Foundation, and the video went completely viral. So when they heard I was coming to Korea, they offered to take me to their showroom, and I did not expect any of this. When I showed up, my jaw fell on the floor. TirTir was so grateful for my viral video that they went all out to give me this incredible experience at their showroom. They put so much detail into this, I couldn't believe it. Look at these beautiful flowers. But then they told me they had a special gift for me, and I had no idea what to expect, and I definitely didn't expect this. First, they basically gave me a lifetime supply of the Cushion Foundation. When I reviewed this, their sales skyrocketed. Let's just say at this point, my hat was beaten out of my chest. You know, honestly, I figured it was like a scarf or maybe an Hermes perfume. But when I opened it up and realized it was a Birkin, like, what is happening? This is the craziest thing any brand has ever done for me. I've never seen a brand go all out like this, and this is like unforgettable. I will never forget this day for the rest of my life. I just can't believe that I now own a Birkin. Like, what is happening? I am still shaken about it. But then they even got Cody a gift. Like, can you believe that? How freaking sweet is that? It was this really, really nice Gucci set. I actually think he will look incredible in this.
So her video was the one that was most talked about, which makes sense because she's one of the biggest creators, if not the biggest, over on TikTok when it comes to makeup. But there was also another creator, Miss Darcy, who also got a Birkin bag.
Was I just gifted a Birkin bag? TirTir flew me to Japan to celebrate the launch of their 30 cushion shades in Japan. When I got there, they told me that they had a surprise for me, and I was like, what could this possibly be? They've already given me so much. And when they pulled out this orange Hermes bag, I was like, no way, you're joking. This is me being absolutely flabbergasted because I have no idea what is going on. I've never even touched an Hermes bag, let alone a freaking Birkin. But I opened up the box and this was inside, and it's so freaking gorgeous. Words cannot begin to describe how grateful I am for this. But this wouldn't be possible without all of you guys. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. 30 shades of foundation in Japan. We out here making history, babes.
And again, fans of these creators were not happy. One person said, and literally while she gets all this free makeup, clothes, and purses, people are dying, barely making, and starving. This comment said, it's really tough to feel happy for a girl getting a Birkin when she has a new Chanel already hanging from her arm. And just for reference, a Birkin bag can cost anywhere from $10,000 all the way up to $2 million. But most of them, I saw a lot of people saying online that the one that she got costs around $30,000, which again, it seems very extravagant, but other people were saying that she probably made the brand way more money than that because of her influence and her reach. So for the brand, it probably didn't impact their bottom line that much to send Mikayla and other influencers a Birkin bag. Again, it's just the optics of how it looks. A lot of people are struggling to get by. They're working 9-to-5 5 jobs, sometimes 2 or 3 jobs. And it can be really tough to watch an influencer who, you know, is perceived to have a very easy job. And I'm not saying it's easy, but is it easier than when I worked at my regular 9-to-5 job? In many ways, yes, it is. So it can be really hard to watch someone who is able to work from home, make their own schedule, and talk about makeup as a job, getting showered with all of these gifts. It creates jealousy in a lot of people and just hard feelings. And I don't know if it's the right approach for these brands to be doing this when it's creating negative feelings in people. Yes, there is the shock value of getting their name out there. I think pretty much everybody knows who TirTir is now as a brand, and before this happened, I don't think a lot of people knew unless you're into Korean makeup brands. So in that way, it served its purpose, but circling back to the beginning of the video, like with Tarte, maybe it worked in the short term, but going forward, how many people are gonna just start getting turned off by this if you're not already, and then just stop paying attention to these brands altogether? So I would really love to hear what you're thinking about all of this down in the comments below. Did any of these issues turn you off from these brands this year? What are your thoughts? I always love chatting with you guys down in the comments. I try to read every comment that I get. And I just want to take a minute to say thank you so much for watching this video. I truly appreciate it. If you're new and you enjoy commentary videos like this and also makeup reviews, be sure to hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on future videos. And if you have some extra time, I'll put something right up there that you can watch next. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in my next one. Take care, guys. Bye.